Howdy folks, Pooch is back out at the camper and he's got to do a little upgrading on this thing. He come to realize after further inspection the little stabilizer jacks just wasn't in the greatest shape. So what he's done, he's upgraded and he's upgrading. And I have purchased, and they're way overkill for what this little thing needs, but this back one, for example, is a 6,000 pound weight capacity for the rear of the camper. But they're scissor jack stabilizers. Now I've already put 2 on the front and 1 on the back. I got 1 more to do. Just a little tiny upgrade, and I tell you what, I was glad I noticed them before I hauled this thing out for its first maiden trip with Pretty and Pooch. So 1 more to go. I'm going to get after it. I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and then maybe those of y'all out there that have got to do the same thing will kind of see how it's done. It ain't rocket science, and it's not difficult. But Pooch is, since he's upgraded and got some bigger ones, he is going to have to drill some holes in this thing. But let's get under this thing and let's get after it. Yes, sir. Now, to spare y'all from all the cussing, and I don't really cuss, but to spare y'all from all the drama of Pooch drilling holes in this frame in order to mount the bolts to this jack, I've already done the other side, but I'm going to do this side real quick. So I think I'll put y'all on hyper. That way we can get it done. Yes, we now have new stabilizer jacks. Yeah, y'all should be able to see that one hanging over there on the other side. This one on this side. And I also put, you can see it out the front, 2 on the front on each side. Hopefully that'll keep this thing from rocking when Pooch goes stepping up the steps or walking inside of it. Now, these aren't jacks, they're stabilizer jacks. They ain't meant to lift this thing up. They're meant to keep it from shifting side to side. But there you go. Let's see what we get in next. Yes, sir. Well, Pooch is out at it again. He's back out here at the Forrest River Ozark 1660Q. Now, you folks know I added those new stabilizer jacks, but now I'm going to add a battery and a battery box. You know, this thing came pretty stripped down. Pooch is just adding a few upgrades before he takes her out on her maiden voyage. So let's get after it. Yes, sir. Now, this thing didn't come with a battery. Even if it did have a battery, it'd probably be no good. But you can see the spot and the brackets where a battery goes, and I'm assuming, and I've seen a lot of them this way, it didn't have a battery box cover. But Pooch has got one he's going to add to it. So let's get after it. Now, what Pooch picked up is a NOCO 24 snap top battery box, and it's UV protected. It'll store the battery Pooch got for his RV, and it even came with a lid which will cover it. You know, I can't believe this thing came without a battery box to protect the battery. It was just sitting there wide open, but it got this lid, this box, NOCO 24, and the best thing about it is made in the USA. So what I'm going to put in that box is an Everstart marine battery. Now, you know, there's all kinds of different batteries you can put in these RVs. Mainly a deep cycle, I think AGM 12s, but this is an MCA 1000. But you know, for the most part, Pooch ain't gonna be running off that battery. Now he wants the battery to operate the electric brakes, and he wants it for the lights and all when he gets to a campsite, so he can hook up. You know, that way he's got some lights and power, and I believe that will run the 12-volt refrigerator while in transit. So, you know, it's a good thing to have a good marine deep cycle battery. They ain't near as expensive as the deep cycle RV batteries, but you know, again, like Pooch said, I'm gonna be running offshore power a lot more, hookups and all that. And if I am or ever find myself out there boondocking, I got a generator for that. So let's get this thing installed and see how she looks. Now Pooch is gonna place that battery right here in that battery tray slot. Now the good thing is, now what he'll probably do at some point, well, no, I don't know, because it came with the strap to strap this thing down to the frame. That's probably gonna be the best bet. That way I can just undo that, pick the whole thing up, take it out, charge it, or whatever I might need to do. But we're gonna set this battery box right here. I'm gonna look at my wires because I know, kind of determine which way to face that battery. I've got my positive, and then I got my neutral, my ground, which I think is going to go over here on this side. But anyway, I'm going to have to do a little addition on here and hook this terminal up that goes to my jack, my power jack, which, by the way, new and installed as well. So anyway, let's get that battery set in there and let's see what we got to do to connect this thing. Yes, sir. All right, here we go. Again, Everstart Marine. Terminals are on this side, so I think this will work out great. See if we can get this thing set in there without tearing something up. Get that baby pop down in there. Nice and pretty. Drop that handle down. Look at there. There she is. It's got the two nuts here to put on the terminals. I don't know that I necessarily want to connect this stuff right now, but I do know I'm going to have to add a connection to this here post. So actually I may go ahead and do it just to verify everything works. Let's pull this off. We don't want to lose those nuts because they're important. That way I don't lose them either. Okay, we're going to lay that right there for now. My terminals here. Let's kind of did this to keep them together. So we're going to undo that little wire just to keep them held together. Again, I need to add this terminal connection to this wire because it goes to that new power jack. So I'm probably going to run, and if you notice the lid, it's got the two sides for your wires to come up underneath. But I'm going to probably come around this way. Well, I don't want to do that yet. I need to put a terminal on this here wire right here. So let's go get a quick connect terminal, get it on there, and then we'll connect this battery and see if she operates. Yes, sir? All right. Now that I got this terminal connector here, we're gonna crimp that on real good, proper. That way she's gonna stay. Let's see, get her down there good and tight. Hopefully that's good enough. What I failed to bring with me was some tape, because I will want to put a little electrical tape around these things just to give them a little added protection, keep them from getting you know, wet. But let's slide this thing. I'm going to go ahead and try to go in right here. Put that one there. And then we will go ahead and come around this way on this one. Let's get that nut on there. And of course I dropped it, but I found it, thank goodness. Remember, always positive first, then your negative. Get that down just finger tight. And then we're going to bring around the negative, which I've got it kind of sitting right here. I may reroute that at some point, because, you know, just to be a little more safe with it too. Let's get that one on there. Now I'm not going to torque these down, because I'm going to disconnect this thing afterwards. I don't need it hooked up right now. We're just going to snug it up. Just snug, that's all. Got to push that handle down. We'll fit the top of them here. It does have snaps that snap into place. Alright, everything looks good there. Everything looks good there. Now for the strap. And I think I want to probably use bungee cords, but this came with it. I'm going to use it. Going to come up underneath the buckle. I'll strap that there. Come up the other side of this buckle. There she came through. There we go. Just a quick check to see. Yep. Jack's working. So there we go, folks. We got the battery installed, and let's see what we get in next. Yes, sir. I think while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and use some of this here Blaster white lithium grease. This stuff's pretty good to keep those hinges, and especially your ball tow hitches. But let's get some of this, squirt this in there. Let's get that straw put up in there. Whoa, that didn't want to stay. Come on, get in there. Don't tell me this straw don't fit this thing, because it sure don't act like it. And I don't want to squirt myself in the face. There we go. That got it. I'm going to spray a little bit up under here. Spray a little bit down around the mechanisms there. You know, this will be good when I'll put some of this on my ball too. But there you go. That ought to keep her good and greased up. But let's hit those stabilizer jacks while we're at it. All right, since we're down here, you know, might as well hit these while the hitting's good. Keep them nice and lubed. On to the next one. I done lost my straw, but I see it. Darn things. There we go. I tell you what, it's windy. All right, we got that one. Well, that's probably going to do it for today, folks. It's hot outside. Pooch has got other things to do, but he wanted to bring you along as he upgraded his bank repo Forrest River Ozark 1660 FQ. Pooch has got a lot of other ideas to modify, upgrade this little camper for Pretty and Pooch, and I'll bring you along with me as I do. Be on the lookout, because I got a lot of accessories I've got to add to this thing, because remember, this thing came without nothing, and before I can take her camping, I gotta get a few essentials. So I hope you folks like this, and if you do like this kind of stuff, go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit your notifications, and you can see Pooch do a whole lot more, especially when he goes camping, him and Pretty. Anyway, appreciate you. Check you next time. And remember, everybody needs a friend named Pooch, and they call me Pooch. Yes, sir.